Maya ran down the wet streets, holding her small, old backpack close to her chest. The rain poured heavily, soaking her hair and clothes. She reached the train station, her shoes splashing in puddles. The cold air made her shiver as she climbed the stairs to the platform. When she arrived, the train was gone. She stared at the empty tracks, her breath forming small clouds in the air. The lights above flickered, and the sound of the rain was loud in the silence. Maya sighed and sat on a cold metal bench. "This always happens," she whispered to herself. "I'm always too late." She looked around the empty station. It was quiet, except for the sound of the rain and the distant hum of electricity. Maya wrapped her arms around herself, feeling small and alone. Then, she noticed someone sitting in the far corner of the platform. It was a man, dressed in a dark coat. He was looking at her. For a moment, she thought about leaving, but something in his calm gaze made her stay. Maya looked back at the empty tracks, pretending she didn't see him. But she could feel his eyes on her, and it made her heart beat faster. The man stood up and started walking toward her. Maya tensed, her fingers gripping the edge of the bench. She kept her eyes on the ground, hoping he would pass by without stopping. But he didn't. He stopped a few feet away and spoke. "You missed the train," he said, his voice calm and steady. Maya looked up, surprised. "Yes," she replied quietly. The man smiled faintly. "You're not the only one. Missing trains is common, isn't it?" Maya frowned, unsure of what to say. Something about his words felt strange, as if he wasn't just talking about the train. He sat on the bench across from her, his coat dripping with rainwater. "You've been here before, haven't you?" "Not this station, maybe, but this feeling." Maya blinked. "What do you mean?" The man tilted his head slightly. "You've missed chances. Important ones. You let them pass, and then you wonder why things don't change." Her chest tightened. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling. He didn't answer. Instead, he looked at her with eyes that seemed to know her. "It's not too late, you know," he said softly. "It's never too late to take a different path." Maya's heart raced. How could he know? She felt a mix of fear and curiosity, unable to look away. Maya looked at the man, trying to find some explanation. His calm face showed no sign of danger, but his words made her feel exposed. She pulled her backpack closer, as if it could shield her from his strange questions. "What do you know about me?" she asked, her voice louder this time. The man leaned back slightly, his expression thoughtful. "Enough," he said. "Enough to know you're not happy with the way things are." Maya's stomach turned. She wanted to deny it, but she couldn't. He was right. "You had a scholarship once," the man continued. "A big opportunity. But you said no because you were scared of leaving home. Do you remember?" Maya's eyes widened. Her hands trembled as memories came flooding back. The acceptance letter, the excitement, and then the fear that made her refuse. "How do you know that?" she demanded. The man didn't answer. Instead, he looked at her with a quiet intensity. "You've let fear decide for you, again and again," he said. But it doesn't have to. Maya's throat felt tight. She wanted to argue, to tell him he was wrong, but the truth sat heavy in her chest. She looked away, staring at the rain falling beyond the platform. "Who are you?" she whispered. The man smiled faintly. "A reminder," he said. "A reminder of what?" she asked, her voice shaking. He didn't answer. Instead, he just watched her, his silence louder than words. Maya kept her eyes on the rain, her mind racing. The man's words echoed in her head, each one touching a part of her she tried to ignore. She didn't want to think about the scholarship, or the job offer she turned down, or the relationship she let slip away. "I made those choices," she said quietly, almost to herself. "I had my reasons." "Did you?" the man asked, his voice soft but firm. "Or did you let fear make them for you?" Maya clenched her fists, feeling a surge of anger. "It's easy to say that now," she said, turning to face him. "But at the time, it didn't feel like fear. It felt like safety." The man nodded slowly, as if he understood. "Safety can be a trap, Maya. It keeps you still when you should be moving." She stared at him, her anger fading into something else, something heavier. "Why do you care? Who are you to judge me?" "I'm not judging you," he said. "I'm giving you a chance to see. That's all." Maya opened her mouth to respond, but when she looked again, the man was gone. The bench was empty, and the sound of the rain seemed louder now. On the bench where he had sat, she noticed a small piece of paper. She picked it up carefully. The paper was plain, with only 3 words written in bold, simple letters: "It's never too late." Maya stared at the paper in her hands, the words standing out clearly against the white background. "It's never too late." She read them over and over, the message sinking deeper into her mind. She stood up slowly, feeling the weight of the paper in her hand. The station was still quiet, the only sound the steady rhythm of the rain. Maya took a deep breath, her chest feeling lighter than it had in a long time. She glanced at the empty tracks, wondering if the man would return. But the train station was quiet, and there was no sign of him. For a moment, she felt the old pull of doubt. What if it was all just a dream? What if she was wrong? But then she remembered the words on the paper. "It's never too late." She smiled softly. She could change. She could make a different choice. Maya walked toward the ticket counter, feeling a strange sense of excitement. She didn't know exactly where she was going yet, but that didn't matter. The important thing was that she was going. She bought a ticket for the next train, choosing a random destination. It didn't matter. What mattered was the path ahead, the one she was finally ready to take. As she walked out of the station and into the brightening morning, Maya felt something shift inside her. She was ready to move forward, to stop letting fear decide her future. What about you? What path are you ready to take? Is there something you've been holding back from doing, something you've been afraid to try? Take a moment to think about it. What's stopping you? If you feel ready, leave a comment and share what new step you are going to take today. Remember, it's never too late. You can start anytime.